Hi, Roberta.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Long time no see.
Long time. Long time no see, my friend.
Well, it's. Let me just say, first of all, you are listening to the show on WNHH 103.5 FMLP. My name is Michelle Turner, and in the studio with me this evening is the one and only author right now, because that's the context we're putting her in,
Yes.
Roberta Hoskie. Hey, Roberta.
Hey, hey, hey. My new title still have to say hey, hey, hey.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Roberta
Yes.
held a very successful book launch this past Monday night, and I was fortunate. I can't even say it. I'm talking so fast. I was fortunate enough to be a part of that, and she preached. She had a testimony. She had her family in the house. She had the women of her Millionaire Mindset organization.
Yes.
Her Sisterhood.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people got a lot out of it.
Yes. Yeah. I the testimonies are just like pouring in. I couldn't keep up with them. I literally hired help to help me respond today. People were, they totally didn't expect what we gave them at that book launch. Mm-hmm. And when we were putting the book launch together, anyone knows me, I don't do dry, right?
Right.
And I'm usually over the top. Were you at my wedding? You were at my wedding,
I was
right?
at your wedding.
Yeah, so I usually like they were like smoke and all that stuff at the wedding, like ridiculous, but that's just who I am.
Went to the birthday party.
Oh yeah, the birthday party, yes,
and the backyard joint.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you had lots of candy.
Yes, yeah.
Like all our teeth. Yes.
The 80s party.
Yes.
So I love events, but this particular event was very important to me. It's like the book launch. It was like a launch of a new not a new person, but a new part of me, a new evolution of Roberta. Now, as you just said, the author, I now have a new title attached to my name, but it's not just a title, it's more than that. I felt that this book deserved to be launched in a way where it was fabulous, right?
It was.
And I told my team, I said, listen, I want to be, this event has to look like Michelle Obama, has to look like the O. Like, I know I'm the R, but it's got to be fabulous.
And it was very nice.
And so
very well done. Your team worked hard and it showed.
Yes, and so we had to, we brought in the best, and absolutely you were there, and Gwen Edwards, and just the team was just amazing.
Was fabulous.
Yeah, the team was amazing. And most importantly, the people who attended, they did get a lot out of it. We talked a little bit about breaking the poverty curse.
And that's the title of the book.
Yeah, and the poverty curse broken, a Roberta Hoskie story. You said I was preaching. I don't know what we call it. I just call it talking with emotion.
I think you were giving testimony.
Yes, definitely giving testimony.
Because there was a moment there when you had people, well, there were several, when you had people on their feet.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
We went to church, I guess.
Yeah, I think you did. All you needed was that organ. You know the organ?
Oh, then they would have like, they would have been shouting all over the place like, this is a book launch.
This is not church.
No, but it just actually speaks volumes to the story. So, all jokes aside, and we could joke all day because that's our personalities. Yeah. But all jokes aside, that book, if you really read the book, and I know you've read it, it has such a power in my story of from poverty and the things that I went through in life that so many people can identify with, but they never want to talk about. And so it also, there's liberation and being able to free to express those things that we like to keep suppressed inside of us. And because...
And that's the key word. Liberation is real big. It's very important.
Yeah, when you're free, you can free, there's the term free to be me. And so many of us are bound and don't even realize why we're bound. But many of us are bound in our mindset because of childhood issues and because of things that happened to us years ago that we have suppressed over time. And then suppression, right? Mm-hmm. When we suppress things, whether we think we forgot about them or not, they surface in other areas of our life where here we are trying to do something and we can't understand why we have fear or why we're feeling insecure. It has everything to do with things that we never dealt with or didn't know how to deal with growing up in the energy around us. So liberation.
And truth be told, that was one of the reasons why it took you a while to complete this book.
Yes, it took me almost 5 years to do this book. So I will start writing. First of all, I didn't mean to write my life story, right?
But what changed?
What had happened was. So I didn't mean to write my life story at first, but I have these 21-day mindset cards to help change the mindset of people. And I wrote those 21 mindset cards based off of my life. So my thought process is like, my 21-day meditation cards and meditation mindset cards, those things are selling like hotcakes. So I'm like, if I get the cards are selling, then I think the other part that goes along with it is writing. So you have, like, for example, day 1 says, my name is, and then you fill in the blank, and it says, I'm destined for greatness. So my name is Roberta, and I'm destined for greatness. So day 1, you would say it over and over. My name is Roberta, I'm destined for greatness. My name is Roberta, I'm destined for greatness. I believe mindset changes with repetition. Mm-hmm. So the thought process was to be able to write something to go along with each day. But every time I began to write, I started talking about stuff that was so deep. And then, like, I couldn't talk about destined for greatness without saying how it actually happened.
Yeah.
And so before you knew it, I started talking about daddy issues. Then I started talking about mama issues. I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, help me. I'm like crumbling up papers, throwing it out. And I was rebuking the devil. And then finally I gave in. I realized what I needed to do is I needed to face my own fear and face my own insecurities and face those things that I swept underneath the rug and that I was trying to act like never happened to me. And I realized that in that moment, because I didn't deal with suppression issues, that I was having mindset issues, and I don't do the mindset issue stuff. So I had to be able to.
So it was therapeutic.
It was very therapeutic. That's why I cried 90% of the time. So 90% of the time I cried, but I realized that as it was therapeutic for me, that I had to be transparent, because in me being transparent, I know that would create liberty and freedom for others as well. Mm-hmm. So it's big. It was huge. Mm-hmm.
So when you finally did finish the book, was there a big edit process? Because there are a lot of things that usually go in the book, and then once you put it down for a few days and you come back to it, you say, I don't know if I want to say that, or I think this doesn't really make a difference, but this does.
So there was a lot of editing. That is not my strong point. We went back and forth. I even sent it back again, even though it's out, there's some edits that need to be made. But there was a lot that was done. There's a lot of cliffhangers in there in that book, but that was by design. Okay. So
we got a part 2 coming?
Yes, there's definitely a part 2 coming. So
is it going to take another 5 years?
It is not going to take another 5 years, not at all. I just got to take my breath and just breathe. And I'm working with some people, producers, on what I should release in the book and what I should be saving for the other thing I got going on.
Okay, that sounds like a movie. I'm just saying.
Oh, why you not Michelle? Michelle.
Just me. I'm seeing it, but that's just my assessment.
So I signed a contract for a movie for this book. I actually signed a contract. That's why I've been going back and forth to LA. Okay. So I signed a contract for the movie for the book before the book came out. So I was in LA doing my TED Talk. And I
saw that, and I wanted to talk to you about that, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I was doing a TED Talk, and in the TED Talk, I talked a little bit about my story. And one of the people in the audience, I looked at her, and she had her mouth open like jaw-dropping. And I'm just being me. And at the end, we ended up connecting. She was like, I don't know what it is about your energy. She was like, but I need to know more about you. And so she began to talk. She was like, what do you have? Like, do you have a book? What is going on? I was like, yeah, I have a book, but it's not published yet. And she's like, do you mind? And at first I'm like, you're a complete stranger.
Right.
Yes, I mind. It's my life. Like, who are you? What's your last name? Like, I just got here in LA. I've never seen you a day in my life. But But you know how you have that confirmation like in your gut, and so I went with my energy, and I went ahead and sent it over to her, of course, with confidentiality agreements with our attorneys, and within 2 weeks I had a contract.
Wow.
To make it into a screen. What do they call it? It said in the newspaper, it says silver screen, but they call it a screenplay.
A screenplay.
Yeah, and make it into a screenplay. They were going back and forth between a screenplay and an episodic.
Okay.
And so,
like a little like Netflix type thing, right?
Yeah, like what is the one? What's the only show that I watched that was an episodic? With come on, help me. Everybody was Empire.
Oh, okay.
So they were thinking about doing the episodic similar to like Empire with my book, with my life.
Wow.
And but they decided the first one needs to be a screenplay, and then maybe spin off be an episodic of the screenplay. So right now in LA, there's a big storyboard going on.
So who's gonna play Roberta Hoskie?
Listen, I don't know, but she better be cute. I said,
the right, first right of refusal, don't you?
I do, but it's me younger, right?
Yeah.
And not that it's just me younger, and I don't know, but older, I would love to see Gabrielle. Gabrielle, she would get me as the businesswoman. And
I think that's a good, similar kind of looking person, right?
Yeah. I would love to see Gabby do it. But it's still in the making. That's why I didn't put it out so much out public and set you over here just spilling the beans. So yes. So yay!
So the book is published by
Trilogy, which is owned by TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network, which is the largest Christian network in the world. They work with T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, Joyce Myers, and yours truly, Roberta Hoskie, the girl from the hood. T.D. Jakes, Joyce Myers, Joel Osteen, Roberta Hoskie. I like it.
I think it's a good combination.
I think it's perfect. Yeah.
So, in doing this book, I know you have some purposes.
Yeah.
Not only do you want to inspire people and get them to realize their mode of freedom, if you will.
Yes.
But you talk about in the book, and this is one of the things that fascinated me about the book. Besides you riding a bike, but I'm not going to get into
you
that.
ride this bike?
Because that was like, because I can never see you riding a bike.
I was also a tomboy. I used to play marbles in the dirt. Like, there has been an evolution, Michelle.
And I get that. I understand that, but it's like that just blew my mind. So, but that you have to read the book for that. I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Oh goodness, my train of thought.
You said the purpose or something.
But the prophecies.
Oh. Yeah.
I think for me, in reading the book, that fascinated me because I've always known you as a hard worker. Always. And you've always had good energy. But it seemed that there was always an energy around you that people saw that was about big things and wealth. And it took you a minute to catch on to that. Was it because I just can't believe that you didn't necessarily at a certain point not have the confidence in yourself. But at the same time, it's like I can also see you saying maybe there's something to it. But it's almost like in the book, everybody's telling you this, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. But that's why I believe that God had to have people say over and over and over. Just like when we first started talking in this interview, I was talking about repetition and changes the mindset. Right. And so I believe that the repetition of the prophecies and people saying, you know what, you're destined for greatness. You know what, you will be wealthy. The world will know your name. And over, that after a while I began to believe it. And as a man thinketh, so is he. And if you could believe it, then you could really achieve it. So things started changing internally in my mindset. And it came from that. Yeah, and always had it. No matter, it was over here. You know how somebody tell you something like stash it in the back of your head somewhere. Yeah. So it was not in the forefront because I had so much trauma in the forefront, and that's how many of us are today. Is that many of us have promises over our life and dreams and visions and things that we want to do, and maybe even have prophecies that people spoke things over your life that you received and you wanted to see it come to pass, but it has not come to pass yet. But maybe you're focused so much on right now instead of really taking that word and putting it from the back of your head to the front of your head. And that's what ended up happening. From the back of something that's suppressed to the front of something I'm going after. And when that thing happens, when you can say, you know what, this is my goal. I am going to be, I'm going to do voiceover. I am going to be known across the world. I am going to evolve from what people think I am. And I'm going to get a new title. You start thinking like that, right? And you're going to be the first person to do this. I'm going to be the first woman to do this. And when you start thinking like that, it becomes to the forefront of your thought process. And when that happens, then your actions align to manifest it. And so long as you have it suppressed, right, you won't act on it. But the minute it comes up here, the minute you speak it and put it in the atmosphere, and someone says to you, well, who are you and who are you going to be in 2020? Like, who's the new you? And you start speaking it and putting it in the atmosphere, it becomes to the front, and then you start manifesting. And so that's just, it's a mindset thing. Yeah, it's mindset. Mindset's powerful.
Give your acronym for DREAM.
Yes. So DREAM, all the preachers out there, you can use my acronym, just give me my credit. So we all have dreams. You can use it. Just say Roberta Hoskie. DREAM. 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 The dream. Believe that we're all given dreams. Dreams are D, divinely. R, revealed. E, events. A, awaiting. M, manifestation. DREAM are divinely revealed events awaiting manifestation. I believe that each and every one of us have divinely revealed events awaiting, and some of us are between awaiting and manifestation, and that's where the shift happens, between awaiting and manifestation.
And so where was your shift? Was your shift when you left your job in New York? Or was it when you sat there with all those papers above you in your little metal desk, you and your sister?
Well, I don't know why I got this analogy in my head, but I'll go with it. So I drive manual cars. So I drive manual cars. I love it. Like shift 1, shift 2. Yes. And so it wasn't like it was just one shift. It was, I went to first gear, then I went to second gear, then I went to third gear, then I went into fourth gear, then I went into fifth gear. So I kept shifting. And actually what happened on Monday was another shift. Okay. So it kept shifting. There are certain things in my life that just keep shifting to keep going to wherever the next level is in life.
Wherever that next level is. Mm-hmm. And so when you start to talk about the poverty curse.
The poverty curse, yeah.
Do people believe it? Do people... Because, I mean, again, that's a mindset.
Do people believe in a poverty curse? I think me saying it... and
Or put it this way. When you say it, what is the reaction that you get? That's a better question.
Well, I'm going to answer that two-part. First part, do people believe in a poverty curse? I think people don't even know or have processed that it's a possibility that this could be a poverty curse until someone plants a seed and say the poverty curse, because you may not even heard that terminology, and so when someone brings it to you or when someone plants a seed, it's up to you to receive it or reject it. But if it starts making sense, at some point you have to receive it. So some people do, some people don't. It's up to them. Yeah. I know what worked for me. Yeah. So when I speak about it, I think I have not had one person for me say, I don't believe in what you're saying, because I began to break down with the poverty curse. And even in the book, I start talking about generational poverty. And so if you really start looking at your life, you look at your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and you start looking at your life and looking at what has happened at every single level or of your history, and then you see you repeating it, don't we see something wrong with this? Mm-hmm. If everybody in your family have been broke, if everybody in your family have been living in the projects, at one point 22 members of my family members were in the same projects. Like 22 of them. What is going on? My grandmother's across the street. Like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
All of us. But that was our normal. But if you start looking at these behaviors, even teenage pregnancy, I talk about that in a book, mm-hmm. how my great-grandmother, teenager, when having a baby, my grandmother was a teenager, had my mother when she was a baby, welfare. My mother had my brother when she was a teenager, welfare. My sister had my nephew when she was a teenager, welfare. I got pregnant with my son. What did my mother tell me to do? Get on welfare. So is that generational poverty? 17. So that generational poverty, but what I realize is poverty is also a mindset. You can agree with me or not. I believe poverty is a mindset, and it's passed on from generation to generation to generation. See, my mother passed on poverty to me because she didn't know prosperity. So if you don't know prosperity, and if you don't know how to create wealth, if you don't know how to make millions, billions, if you don't know how to sign your own paycheck, and the only thing you know is to go to work and slave for somebody else, if the only thing you know is how to pay a bill and work from 9 to 5 and let somebody tell you what to do, then that's all you can give out. So by default, if you don't know prosperity, if you don't know wealth, by default, you teach poverty. By default, you just teach it. And so it's cyclical. So it goes from generation to generation to generation. Today, me and my husband were talking, and we were talking about the teenage pregnancy. I got one daughter, and it did not happen with her. Mm-hmm. No teenage pregnancy. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm excited. God, I thank you. But it is generational. Poverty is passed on from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. Just like wealth. Wealth is passed on from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. But if we don't know wealth, by default, we teaching everybody and everything around us poverty, because we can only give what we have inside of us. So
are you still trying to teach wealth? Because I know at one point you were going around the country kind of standing on soapboxes in Newark.
I was having fun.
With that bullhorn saying, you can do it.
Yeah, listen, I'm still a girl from the hill. I will get on the corner with my stilettos. But I'm a little bit refined right now, so I don't think I'm gonna do it in 2020. I got a doctor, Roberta Hoskie, but I'll still get on the soapboxes and all that. I'm just playing. If need be, I have no shame in my game. But yes, I'm still preaching and teaching the same thing I have always preached and teach for as long as I can remember. I've always been this way. I've always, whether it's on a larger playing field, more people hear about it, being more bold. But you and I have one-on-one conversations years ago, and I've been saying and doing the same thing forever. Yeah. This is nothing new. I'll say it in a...
Well, it's interesting to me, too, because it made sense in the book, but, no, your love of houses. You know, when you were a little girl. And, we don't... Sometimes as human beings, we don't necessarily connect those things with what we do as adults. Yeah. And you would go into a house and say, this should be here, and this should be here, and they should place this here. And you're not talking furniture.
No.
You're talking about how the house is laid out.
Absolutely. Where the chandelier would go, like where the toilet would go, where the doors to the closet would go. It came to me automatically. I knew how to read blueprints as a child. Like, it was like ABC 1, 2, 3 for me. And so those are the things that I love to teach when I coach people: wealth strategy, mindset strategy. Of course I teach real estate strategy, but I want people to get to the core of who they are. Yeah. And
because that's important.
Yeah, and get to the core of who you are really means peeling back layers, and really, who are you as a kid? What did you love to do as a kid before the world started telling you what you should be? So if I knew then what I knew now, or if anyone around me would have thought, well, this is a little strange that this girl could read blueprints, right? This is a little strange that all she does is draw houses and with stairs. Like, this is a little different here. And instead of going to the park, she wants to sneak into abandoned houses. Like, something right here needs to connect. So as a kid, I loved houses, but now it makes perfect sense. And because hindsight, as they say, is 20/20, I want to show the people that are reading my book to pay attention to those things that your children are showing you. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to them very young, because you can help to guide them to who they are, just on the things that they just naturally love to do. Yeah.
I think about my daughter and how she is drawn to kids, and it was so funny because we were in the grocery store. I tell this story all the time. We were in the grocery store, and we're standing there trying to decide, okay, do we want this or do it? And this little girl runs up to her and hugs her. Oh. And she's like, honey, hi. Where's your mommy? Because I don't want any problems. But she genuinely, small children love her, and she works well with them. Yeah. So one of her talents is that she can actually get kids to talk to her about whatever it is that's bothering them. So, her behavioral psych piece that she wants to develop is something genuine. Yeah,
and I would definitely support that thing that's innate, that's inside of her. Yeah. And I can almost promise you that if she sees a child hurt, it bothers her like insane.
Well, it was funny. We were, I was working. She was in high school. She got off the bus. She saw this kid. And she said, Ma, the kid looked lost.
See? Somebody else would have walked by that kid, right?
Right. And she said, will you allow me to talk to you?
Look.
This is her approach. Will you allow me to talk to you? And the little boy said, yes. He said, I've been here 15 minutes. Nobody's answering the door. He said, and I don't have a phone, and I don't know where anybody is. Okay. So she talked to him, figured out his aunt lived up the street. Okay. And she said, do you think she's going to be home? And so he said, I don't know. He said, sometimes she's home when I'm after school. Sometimes I go there. So she walked the little boy up the street. And as she's walking him up the street, she said, use my phone, call your aunt, see if she's home. Yeah. So he did that, and then she got on the phone. She said hi. She told the lady who she was, and said, I saw him standing there, and he looked really frustrated. Aww. She said, so I'm just helping to get him to your house. And then she says, I got to hang up, and I got to call my mom, because my mom's going to be wondering why I'm not home. Okay. And so she called me and told me what happened, and I was like,
yeah, those are the things.
So those are the things.
Those are the things that we need to focus on, is those things that we just automatically do. Those are the things. And so when I teach purpose, and I teach people to tap into their purpose, because if you tap into your purpose, you will find your passion. And when you find your purpose and your passion, your prosperity is attached to it. So a lot of people look for prosperity first, and that's the wrong way.
And it's backwards.
It's backwards. You look for what is that passion? What is that thing? What's the passion? What are you passionate about? It's tied into your purpose. So when I coach people about that, I often say, there's two things. What is that thing that you would do if nobody paid you to do? Because that is the indicator of your passion. Like, what are you just doing just because it was not about money? Right. And then the other question that I ask people when I'm coaching them is, what is the thing that grieves you? What is that thing that just, when it happens, it just gets under your skin? And you can't explain why it gets under your skin. Like, why does that make you upset? Why is that your Achilles heel? Why is that thing that just, like everybody has that thing about them. For me, the thing that just strikes an emotional chord, and for me, it's always been homelessness. So see, now here we go back as a kid. So I remember being a kid, and we're riding down the street, and you have a homeless person, and they have a sign talking about they're homeless. I'm hyperventilating, crying. Everybody else just acting normal. I'm looking around like, what's wrong with them? Like, why are they don't reacting to this? Yeah, I'm like a wreck. Like, oh my God, don't you see this guy? He has no shoes on. He's on the floor. Like, I was a wreck. But it grieved me. See, what grieves us, and a lot of times we're taught, don't worry about it, control your emotion. Wait a minute, whoa. Your emotion is trying to tell you who you are. Yeah. So control it. You need to pay attention to it, understand why is it acting happening. And why is it happening. See, it grieved me when I saw homeless people. And the reason why I asked, what is that thing to grieve you? Is because the thing that grieves you is an indicator of something that God designed you to fix. You didn't give yourself that emotion. Why do I care about homeless people? I didn't give that to me.
Right.
I didn't give myself the ability to read blueprints when I was a kid before I could read books. I read blueprints before books. I didn't do that to me. And what's inside of you. And so we really, really miss it. We really miss it with the children growing up and really tapping into what is really inside of them, because that will save us a lot of time wasting money on school, right, listening to what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Like, you're going to define what you really want to be when you really will never be happy until you really tap into your purpose. Like, you can, like, I was making 6 figures after being on welfare. You would think I was satisfied. I was not happy because that's not who I was destined to become. It was a step along the way.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my I got my 6-figure job. I got a chauffeur. I was on welfare and I own some homes. I'm good. I'm satisfied. What is satisfied? I ain't satisfied. I'll never be satisfied. Unless God tell me to at some point, but he ain't tell me to, so I'm going to just keep on going. Just keep on going. So, yeah.
So, tying that into the TED Talk, how did the TED Talk happen and what did you talk about? So,
TED Talk, you can probably... I'm consistent. I promise you I'm consistent. The TED Talk talked about poverty. And I talked about the homeless rate in LA. But I tied the...
Yeah, because it's huge.
Oh my God, it's awful there.
It's huge.
I can't recall the numbers of the homeless rate in LA. But I had all the data. But I talked and I shared the story. So I did the TED Talk like a story. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was very good. But it started off with saying something like, have you ever seen a homeless person? Have you ever walked by a homeless person pushing a couch? Maybe in the alleyway. So I started painting a picture of looking at homeless people and, did you walk by them? And have you ever considered why they are the way they are? And I began to paint that type of picture. And then I started talking about the stereotypes that people put on homeless people. And then at the end, I was talking about it. And I said, you'll never know where a homeless person will really end up, not to judge them, because they may even end up on the stage that you're watching right now, because that homeless person at one time was me. And the crowd was like, ah! But I'm consistent with poverty, breaking the poverty curse, homelessness, women's right, being financially free, bridging the economic gap. I've been consistent. Money, wealth, prosperity, and believing that God gives you the power to get the wealth.
What is your recommendation for bridging the gap?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people get paid on an hourly rate or salary. And you can have 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, doesn't matter, all in one company. And you'll have different salary lines, right? And so you can have someone doing the same job as you in the same office as you, using the same computer, same software, same time from 9 to 5 as you. One person would get paid more than the other person. So what I like to teach is that you don't necessarily get paid for your time. So let's first get rid of that myth in your mindset. You don't get paid for your time. Because if you really got paid for your time and got paid by the hour, well, you could just sit home and your little $20 and keep popping out your seat, or your $30, your 3 $10 bills, your 4 $10 bills, whatever you get paid an hour, keep popping up if you really get paid by the hour. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the company. And so as you become more valuable, then you're able to charge more to build that gap, to bridge that gap. You can't not invest in your own intellectual property and think you are going to advance. It just does not work that way. If you cannot not invest into your own intellectual property and think that you're going to become a millionaire, there is going to be a process that you have to invest in your own thought process, your skill set, to make yourself become more valuable. And I use the example, like 10 years ago, if I was to do real estate coaching, and I think I did. Maybe 5 years ago, I was doing these $25 show up at my office.
Yes.
Oh, go to Connect with Roberta right now.
Yes.
It's $375 for 15 minutes. And my coaching package go all the way up to $30,000. I became more valuable with my intellectual property. I can help people create wealth. I've mastered this gift that God has given me, so I became more valuable. And so depending on what you need me to do, like today I was sharing with you with the speaking engagements that all came in today. I got a speaking engagement in London. Well, that had some commas in it. I became more valuable. I'm the same person, but I started investing in my own intellectual property, mastering my gift, living in purpose and on purpose, and giving God something to work with. You become more valuable. So that's how you bridge the gaps. I won't compare yourself with anyone else.
Right.
Just focus on who you are and what do you have to give to this world that makes you valuable. And whatever that thing you want to do, just master it.
Well, I think, I believe everyone's born with a gift.
Absolutely. They do. Absolutely.
Everyone is born with a gift.
In gifts, plural.
Right. But it's tapping into it, it's discovering it, it's being encouraged in it.
Oh, Michelle, you're gonna make me go mindset, honey. It's not discovering it because it's not lost.
But you don't know about it, so what do you do?
Well, you know about it. You might have not paid attention to it. We just talked about the little girl, right?
Yes.
I knew that was in me. I didn't pay attention to it. See, what happens is, this is why the Bible says, be as little children. Because what happens is, as little children, we're very impressionable. And as little children, we just like stuff. We do stuff when we're just trying to figure out, just having fun. But there's so much about us as children, about who we are to be as adults. But then you have adults start trying to tell you who you're going to be.
Yeah.
And then you have adults start putting boundaries on you. Oh, don't touch this. Don't touch that. Don't go here. Somebody gonna get you here. Don't do that. Little kids, be quiet. Kids are meant to be seen, not heard. All of this stuff. After a while, you start getting your fear factor, because we deal with fears as adults.
Yeah.
Of making a mistake, because I don't know if I should do that, or I don't know if I should do this, and I don't know if I should do that. Right. Because our whole life somebody been telling us what to do, what was wrong and what was right. And so now we're trying to make a decision, we're trying to live, we're trying to be who we are, and we don't know if it's wrong or right, and it's inside of us. So it's so multi-layered. It's about going back to the essence of who you are. And I really say, answer those two questions. What is it that you would love to do? What is that thing that you would do if nobody was if you were not getting paid? And what is the thing that grieves you? You probably hate bad radio. Like, it probably makes you sick. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Hello.
You're right.
It grieves you.
Yes.
I could listen to bad radio. I don't care. Don't grieve me, but don't mess up a real estate deal and start talking crazy. And don't start giving me mindset stuff and try to tell me what you can't do. Now that right there is a problem. That grieves me. You could have had a whole conversation with somebody else about what somebody can't do, and then you could have a conversation. For me, it grieves me. Pay attention to what grieves you.
Yeah. Yeah. You all don't know, but I'm getting a lecture in this right now. Just because she's giving me the side eye.
Now that's my girl. That's all in love.
Yeah, it is all in love. Because we've been doing this thing for a while.
Yes, we have.
We really have.
Yeah.
But when you... Well, first of all, let me roll it back a little teeny bit. And can you give us a little bit of history? Because, I know you're the chieftain. I know you're the founder. But you have an organization that is an international sisterhood.
I do. Look at that. Look at God. Ain't he amazing?
A is something.
Yeah.
And you just got back from putting folks together out of the United States.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood. Yes, my Facebook Live have all the sisterhood going crazy right now. They're looking at all those little sisterhood logos going up. Yes, Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood, faith-based sisterhood devoted to breaking what we call the poverty curse. We live in purpose, on purpose. We are women who change generations, build legacies, and create wealth. Not just for ourselves, but also for our children. Generational wealth. Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood was established April 15th, 2017. It was founded October 29th, 2016. And it was something that believed again, it's something that I believe that God allowed me to live to do.
Mm-hmm.
This movement, this sisterhood, is not a business organization, as my other businesses are, but it does have business structures in it. It will outlive me. When I sat down at the table with the Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood and the cabinet, what you call the cabinet,
mm-hmm.
the first thing I said is, let's plan 100 years out. And so 100 years out, we plan this sisterhood. And what does it look like? What symbols, like if 100 years out, we'll have how many sisters, and how will we be able to recognize each other? How will we do things? See, not yesterday, but on Monday, I said, excuse me, I'm just trying to change the world. I wasn't playing. I don't care if it sounds cute. I was dead serious. I'm trying to change the world. And what I do know is that when women are as one, as when my people are one, that's when I will heal the land. What I do know is that there is power in unity.
Yes.
And I know that when women get together, we just get stuff done. Now, as you can get a group of women, you and I could get stuff done. The little group that we had on Monday at my book launch, they got that done.
Yeah.
Now imagine that multiplied with women all across the world getting it done on one accord about breaking poverty, one accord investing together, one accord on saying, you know what, we gotta make sure our children and our children's children have wealth. One accord of saying, you know, I'm tired of getting a paycheck, I want to sign my own paychecks. One accord of being intentional about how you spend your money. You know, if you have a sisterhood, in my sisterhood, I'm going to spend my money in my sisterhood before I spend it outside of my sisterhood. Mm-hmm. Because that's how the dollar circulates.
Right.
And so the sisterhood is a powerful force to be reckoned with. We are still very young. I know there are a lot of wonderful, powerful sisterhoods out there, and I know you're part of them. And I have a lot of the sisters that are in my sisterhood that are part of other wonderful sisterhoods. But this one right here is the package. We got faith, we got business, mm-hmm. We got investments, we got I am my sister's keeper, we got community, and as one of the presidents in the New Jersey chapter says, we got the bundle package. The bundle package. So, and Dominican Republic is what you talked about.
Yeah.
So we just launched our first country over the weekend. Dominican Republic, they hablas no inglés. They hablas only español, and no hablas español. But the power of the sisterhood and the power of God, being able to speak their language didn't even matter. And of course, I had translators that went along with me, but it was just a powerful thing to see these women, whom I never know. But they heard about the sisterhood. The sisterhood was introduced to them, and they were ready. I had one woman get in a bus for 4 hours to come and meet with me in the Millionaire Mindset Sisterhood in Dominican Republic after working. And a lot of times in the United States, we have excuses about what we cannot do. Yeah. And the question is always, how bad do you want it? And so it was powerful. That sisterhood that rising was very powerful. Did you see the video?
I saw the video.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your thought on it?
I was impressed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, knowing that these women don't necessarily have any connection to the United States. Mm-hmm. They don't speak any English, you know, but they were really ready.
They were. Yeah, right. And of course, I can't have everything on video. I did a less than a minute clipping, but when we talk about changing the world, like, I'm so serious. Like, I change the world one country at a time, and it will continue to grow, because those women in Dominican Republic, I already have one opened up a door in Cuba. And so they're going to keep on opening up doors all over the place. I already have the door in Kenya open. I talked about that. A door in Jamaica is already open. Bermuda was supposed to be the first one that was risen. So we have these countries already opening up their doors, because it is necessary that we work together. I think being fake and phony is played out. Mm-hmm. I don't need that energy. Positive energy is the way to go.
Right, right. Mm-hmm. Because we're moving in an age of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's about the uplift of everyone, but
Absolutely.
Specifically women, looking out for women and being serious about that.
The last becoming first.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roberta Hoskie, Dr. Hoskie.
Pumpkin.
Auntie Pumpkin.
Auntie Pumpkin. Oh, my
Auntie
nephews.
Pumpkin.
They were. You guys weren't in the VIP. You don't know what she talking about with Auntie Pumpkin. But the VIP session, they was dogging me in VIP. They was dogging me. I was like, I still don't remember that pot of whatever. I'm not fessing up to that.
So you're not owning it.
I'm not owning it. My daddy might have cooked that mess. I ain't cooked that mess.
It wasn't for me. I ain't owning it.
No, I ain't owning it. That's VIP talk, y'all. The reception.
What is it? And I asked you this Monday night.
Yeah.
And wait, before I do that.
Uh-huh.
Numbers.
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Numbers.
So let me see if I remember everything, because I had it written down before.
Yes, give me the numbers. What's the numbers?
$9.14.
Is the salary that I made at Yale when I bought my first house. Yes, $9.14, yo.
$283.
283 Norton Street. The first house that I bought that yielded me over $250,000. Come on, I'm ready.
$1,500.
Was the cash flow after the debt service was paid on 283 Norton Street on a monthly basis, whether I sat my behind home or not.
And last but not least, $417.
My welfare check. Woo! I have fun playing that game until you switch the numbers. I'm the numbers. I know my numbers.
But the funny thing about it was, I was like, I bet she doesn't realize that in this story there are significant numbers.
No, I didn't until you pulled them out. I'm gonna start writing them down.
And it was like, okay, so this number is the beginning. Mm-hmm. The 417.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the beginning. The 283 is the middle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the 1500 is the opening of a door.
Yes. Oh, Michelle, high five. Woo! Yes.
So I figured that, they were significant. And people needed to know that those numbers were significant to you.
Excellent catch.
So,
excellent.
I thought it was cool. And I figured that, even though it's like, what? I said, Roberta, you're a numbers person. You got this.
Yeah, I got the numbers.
Okay.
But that was hilarious when you had shifted the numbers. That was funny. Go ahead.
What is it that you want people to take away from all of this? What is it that you want people to understand about your story?
I want people to understand about my story is that I am them. Like, nobody's special. That it is possible, whatever that it is in life. That if you really believe and you have the mindset and really identify those things that's stopping you from being the best version of yourself, stopping you from living in your abundance, stopping you from acquiring wealth, creating generational wealth, living in peace, living in happiness, living in authentically who you are designed to be, that you can do it. That whatever that it is possible. There is nothing, there are no limits in this world except the limits that you put on yourself. There's no limits. That's why there's no limits. If you really think, there's nothing you can't do. And if you look at, if you look outside and you've seen other people, you've seen Oprah, Obama, if they've done it, so can you. I happened to read the New Haven Register article that was done on me the other day, which was wonderfully done. They quoted that because they asked me, what do you tell people? And I was like, well, you just look around. It's been done before. So if they can do it, you can do it. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
What makes you different from them? You may have to push a little harder.
But
you can do it.
Yeah. It can be done.
It can be done. So to sum it up, whatever that it is possible. That's it. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
That's simple.
You heard it first. Author of The Poverty Curse Broken.
Yes.
Real estate investor. Real estate owner. Manager, founder of Outreach Properties. Or Outreach Realty.
Outreach Realty, yep.
Dr. Roberta Hoskie, thank you.
Thank you very much. And
Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. And if
I want my movie premiere ticket, I'm telling you now.
Yes.
And I want one trip to the set. I'll pay for my ticket to get to wherever, but I just want to be on the set when they shoot it.
I promise you, I will let you know.
Please let me know.
I will let you know. It's still in beginning phases, so I will let you know. And if anyone has not purchased this book yet, make sure
How can they get it?
Go ahead. You can get it on. Just go to Amazon. Amazon.com has it. Barnes and Noble has it. But if you want to autograph one with my signature, then you're gonna have to go to www.connectwithroberta.com, connectwithroberta.com, or I'm sorry, I have a new site. The RobertaHoskieStory.com.
I'm sorry.
RobertaHoskieStory.com. One more time. RobertaHoskieStory.com, and you will get your autograph copy. Thank you, Michelle.
You are listening to the show on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live right now. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent, or just go to your own Facebook page and look us up. Dr. Hoskie, thank you. Appreciate your time and energy.
Thank you for inviting me to the show.
Thanks, Harry.
Woo! All right, high five.
High five, girl. You did it.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Always.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. RobertaHoskieStory.com. Oh, look at you guys posting the links. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Make sure you get your book if you have not gotten the book already. Poverty Curse is Broken, the Roberta Hoskie Story. Amazon.com. Also, but we want you to go to RobertaHoskieStory.com. RobertaHoskieStory.com. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Know that it is possible. Whatever that it is in your life, that it is possible. May the poverty curse be broken. Love you all. Bye, guys. RobertaHoskieStory.com. Get your book now. Bye.